Argenti's release is just around the corner, and I thought this would be a great time to talk a bit about him because there are a lot of factors that will determine his worth in the upcoming patches. So I'll just be going over Argenti, what we know about him so far, and hopefully at the end of this video you'll be able to make a decision about whether or not you're gonna pull for him. Starting off with the basics, Argenti is a physical unit who follows the path of erudition, meaning he will be able to attack all enemies on the field, which is good, but he's gotta have the damage to back that up, right? So apart from his basic, which is single target, and his skill which hits all enemies, Argenti's main focus point is his ult, which has two different forms. And for what we know so far, he's the only character who will be able to use his ults despite not having full energy, which will be the first form of his ults. For the second form, you gotta have max energy, and when used, it will do a greater amount of damage than his incomplete ults. Yeah, that's what I'll call it. So when using his complete ults, he does more damage and does extra damage to a random enemy. Apart from his ults, his talent is also pretty good because it gives him a lot of crit rates, much like qingque, so you're gonna be pretty comfy building him with crit damage, and it also gives him additional energy, which means you're gonna be able to have high uptime on your complete ults, which is pretty good. So basically with Argenti, you're gonna want a lot of energy, whether that be from his teammates like Tingyun or huohuo, who will most likely be his best teammates. Honestly, these two factions are really carrying teams with attack-based DPSs. But with Argenti, I believe it won't be that hard to run him without these two because of Hanya. Now Hanya is going to be dropping along with Argenti, and as a support who focuses on providing skill points for the entire team, she's gonna be one of his best supports. And on top of that, they're both physical characters, which means that you'll be able to run the new planner sets on her, making Argenti even more broken. With Hanya on your team, your Argenti is gonna be able to spam his skill and accumulate energy, which will in turn give you high uptime on his complete ults. Honestly, if you're going for Argenti, then his banner will be an absolute win for you. Now, I know what some of you are gonna say. I already have an Imbibitor Lune, or a Kafka, or a qingque. Why would I need to get Argenti? I'd much rather save pools for support like Mei. Well, you'd be completely right, and of course you should really pull for who you want or need. But the reason why Argenti would be desirable would be because of the new game mode which Star Rail announced, which will be coming alongside the Forgottenhall. Now if you don't know what this game mode is, it's basically a mode where enemies will keep spawning endlessly after you kill them, and you have to defeat as many of them as you can in a limited number of cycles. The more enemies you defeat, the more points you get. And the name of the mode is Pure Fiction, if you want to search it up by yourself. Now what does this mean exactly? Basically, it means that you would want a character who can deal a lot of damage whilst also hitting all enemies on the field at once. The only characters that can do this are erudition units, and while qingque is broken, she doesn't hit all enemies with her enhanced basic attack, which is where most of her damage comes from. Tingyun and Argenti are the main two characters who check all the boxes. But considering how Star Rail does things, the mode is most likely gonna have new enemies. And those new enemies are probably gonna be weak to physical and imaginary, seeing as the mode releases in 1.6. Of course, this is speculation, and as time goes on, we'll get to know more details about the new mode. And on that note, please like and sub if you're enjoying the video so far, as I will be covering more Star Rail contents in the future. Now we've established his abilities and the reasons why he will be valuable in the upcoming versions. The question is, should you pull for Argenti? Honestly speaking, I don't think it will be a bad idea if you go for him. The main problems are the characters who are coming directly after him, Dr. Ratio and Mei, because these two are gonna be absolutely cracked. But we can put Mei aside because she'll be coming in the second half of 1.6, which is reasonably far from now. And of course, I trust the free-to-plays will be able to manage their jades for her. The real battle is between Argenti and Dr. Ratio. Basically, would you like an AoE DPS who can do consistent amounts of damage with his skill and ults, and also provide himself with a ton of energy, or a single target DPS who should be able to deal a lot of damage considering he is a hunt character? For my account, honestly, I go for Dr. Ratio. Mainly because I don't have Imbibitor Lune, but that's considering I have the J's to even get him, because I'm gonna be pulling for Silver Wolf in a few days. But if you like Argenti's character and design, then you should definitely go for him because his kit is pretty solid and he's gonna be future proof. So that was it for the video, and if you made it this far, then comment on what type of videos you would like to see in the future, and with that said, I'll catch you guys on the next one.